Hey everyone, welcome back to Yousaf Reacts. Today, we're diving into the time-bending, action-packed world of X-Men Days of Future Past. Released in 2014, this movie combines the best of both X-Men worlds, the original trilogy and the first-class crew. So, let's get started. Directed by Bryan Singer, X-Men Days of Future Past is the seventh installment in the X-Men film series. The movie's plot is based on the 1981 Uncanny X-Men storyline Days of Future Past by Chris Claremont and John Byrne. It's a unique blend of time travel and superhero action, creating a narrative that spans two timelines. The story kicks off in a dystopian future where mutants are on the brink of extinction. Hunted down by sentinels, advanced robots capable of adapting to mutant powers. To save their kind, the X-Men send Wolverine back to the past to prevent a pivotal event that triggers this grim future. Hugh Jackman reprises his role as Wolverine, bringing his usual grit and charisma. His mission: to stop Mystique, played by Jennifer Lawrence, from assassinating Bolivar Trask, the creator of the Sentinels. This act is what sets off the chain reaction leading to the dark future. Jennifer Lawrence delivers a powerful performance as Mystique, showcasing her inner conflict and determination. Meanwhile, Peter Dinklage plays Bolivar Trask, adding a layer of depth to the antagonist role. But Wolverine can't do it alone. He needs the help of young Charles Xavier and Eric Lensher, brilliantly portrayed by James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender. Their strained relationship and differing ideologies add emotional weight to the film. One of the film's standout moments is the Pentagon break-in scene featuring Quicksilver, played by Evan Peters. The slow-motion sequence set to Time in a Bottle is both visually stunning and incredibly fun. Quicksilver's speed and humor steal the show, making it one of the most memorable scenes in the X-Men franchise. The film excels in balancing its large ensemble cast, providing significant moments for both the original and younger versions of the characters. The seamless integration of these timelines is a testament to Bryan Singer's direction and the strong screenplay by Simon Kinberg. As the story unfolds, the tension rises, leading to a climactic battle that determines the fate of both past and future. The film's resolution ties up loose ends and sets a hopeful tone for the future of mutants. X-Men Days of Future Past is not just a superhero movie. It's a story about redemption, unity, and the power of choice. It delivers thrilling action sequences, compelling characters, and a narrative that keeps you engaged from start to finish. If you haven't seen X-Men Days of Future Past, it's definitely worth a watch. Whether you're a longtime fan of the X-Men universe or new to the series, this film offers something for everyone. The X-Men send Wolverine to the past in a desperate effort to change history and prevent an event that results in doom for both humans and mutants. In the future, the mutants and the humans who help them are slaughtered by powerful robots named Sentinels. Professor Xavier, Wolverine, Magneto, Storm, Kitty Pryde, and her friends meet at a monastery in China, and Xavier explains that the invincible Sentinels were created using the DNA of Mystique that was captured in 1973 when she tried to assassinate their creator, Dr. Bolivar Trask. Xavier tells that their only chance is return to 1973. Using Pryde's ability to join Charles Xavier and Eric Lensher to convince Mystique to give up her intention. However, only Wolverine can withstand the damages of the time travel. Will he succeed in stopping Mystique and the Sentinel program, and save the mutants and their human friends from annihilation? This movie opens in a dark and desolate future that was set in motion in 1973, when brilliant scientist Dr. Bolivar Trask Peter Dinklage created a series of giant robots called Sentinels for the sole purpose of wiping out mutants, who he claimed were a direct threat to the human race. Although initially programmed solely to target mutants, the Sentinels soon began eradicating humans who possessed the DNA to breed mutants, and eventually, any mortal mutant sympathizers. Desperate, Professor Xavier Sir Patrick Stewart and Magneto Sir Ian McKellen devise a plan to have Kitty Pryde Elliott Page send Wolverine back to the year when Mystique Jennifer Lawrence assassinated Trask. It turns out that Mystique inadvertently accelerated the Sentinel program when she was subsequently captured by Sergeant William Stryker Josh Hellman, who succeeded at harvesting her DNA to make the robots more powerful than ever before. Upon arriving in the past, Wolverine quickly seeks out a much younger Charles Xavier James McAvoy, as well as Beast Nicholas Hoult, and Quicksilver Evan Peters, and together they help break a young Magneto Michael Fassbender out of a heavily fortified prison cell hundreds of feet beneath the Pentagon. Meanwhile, with the help of Havoc, Inc., Toad, and Spike, Mystique is already moving in for the kill. Although Wolverine, Beast, Charles, and Magneto manage to thwart the assassination, Charles and Magneto once again find themselves at odds after the latter attempts to alter the plan at the last moment, creating a mass panic during a post-Vietnam War peace summit in Paris. And Dr. Trask, still fuming from having had the Sentinel program rejected by Congress, takes his proposal directly to President Nixon Mark Camacho, laying the groundwork for an even darker future than the one Wolverine was sent back to prevent. In a dystopian 2023, years after Logan's adventure in the Wolverine 2013, Bolivar Trask's powerful mutant hunting robots, the Sentinels, have brought both mutant supporters and the meta-human race on the brink of extinction. To avert total annihilation, an aged Professor X, his long-standing friend or nemesis, Magneto, and the remaining survivors of the original Team and X-Men 2000 join forces with their 1973 versions from X-Men First Class 2011 as the body regenerating Wolverine travels back in time, entrusted with fulfilling a life or death mission. Now, the shape-shifting Mystique is caught in the middle of a desperate situation. Can one man alone change the entire course of history? In the future, robots known as Sentinels are exterminating all mutants, as well as any humans who seek to help them. A band of mutants evades the Sentinels in Moscow with the help of Kitty Pryde Ellen Page, who can project a person's consciousness into the past. Upon the Sentinel attack, she projects one of the mutants into the past to change some events such that the present events do not even take place. Pryde's group convenes with Storm Hal Berry, Wolverine Hugh Jackman, Professor Xavier James McAvoy and Patrick Stewart, and Magneto Michael Fassbender and Ian McKellen at a monastery in China. Pryde sends Wolverine's consciousness to 1973 to prevent Mystique, Jennifer Lawrence, from assassinating Bolivar Trask Peter Dinklage, the creator of the Sentinels. Following the assassination, Mystique was captured, and her DNA was used by Trask's company to create Sentinels, whose ability to adapt to any mutant power makes them almost invincible. Xavier and Magneto advise Wolverine to find both of their younger selves for help. Logan has limited time, as Sentinels are bound to find the mutants in China, and once they do, this time, mutants won't be able to escape, as Pryde would be busy projecting Logan into the past and won't be able to project anyone else. Also, whatever Logan changes would become history and would be the only history that the rest of the world will remember. But Logan will be the only person who will remember the truth. Wolverine awakens in 1973 into his younger body. He still has his original claws and not the ones created by William Stryker. At the X-Mansion, he encounters Xavier and Beast. Xavier's Institute for Gifted Youngsters has closed after most of the teachers and students were drafted for the Vietnam War. Xavier, now a broken man, is overusing a serum which allows him to walk after he was shot and paralyzed in the Cuban Missile Crisis incident and suppresses his telepathy. Wolverine explains his mission and persuades Xavier to help free Magneto from a prison cell beneath the Pentagon, where he is being held for allegedly assassinating President John F. Kennedy, which explains the magic bullet theory, a bullet with a curved path that killed JFK. They rescue Magneto with the help of Peter Maximoff, a mutant with superhuman speed. In Washington, D.C., Trask unsuccessfully lobbies Congress to gain support for his Sentinel program, as the Defense Committee is not willing to fund a program to target its own citizens and is not convinced that mutants are a threat to society. Meanwhile, in Saigon, Mystique prevents a young William Stryker Josh Hellman from appropriating a group of mutant GIs for Trask's research. Mystique investigates Trask's office and discovers he has been capturing mutants to use in experiments. She also finds that Trask is having a meeting in Paris with the Vietnamese generals and plans to kill him there. Xavier, Magneto, Beast, and Wolverine fly to Paris to intercept Mystique. On the plane, Magneto tells Charles that he didn't kill JFK, in fact, he was trying to save JFK before he was taken out. JFK, he claims, was a mutant too. In Paris, Mystique impersonates a South Vietnamese general to infiltrate the Paris Peace Accords with Trask, who is trying to sell his Sentinel technology to communist nations. Xavier, Magneto, Beast, and Wolverine arrive as Mystique is about to kill Trask. Magneto tries to kill Mystique to ensure her DNA cannot be used for the Sentinels, but she jumps from a window. The fight spills onto the street in view of the public, where Charles tries to save Mystique, while Magneto tries to kill her, allowing Magneto and Mystique to escape. During this time in the future, Pride's control over Logan weakens, who injures Pride. Trask is saved, but the world is horrified by the existence of mutants. President Richard Nixon approves Trask's Sentinel program and arranges an unveiling ceremony. Trask's scientists recover Mystique's blood from the street. Mystique tracks down Eric Magneto and confronts him on his attack on her. Magneto explains that now that Trask has Mystique's blood, they have to strike now while they still have the upper hand. Mystique agrees to support Magneto. Meanwhile, Magneto, who has recovered his telepathy-blocking helmet, intercepts the prototype Sentinels in transit and laces their polymer-based frames with steel, allowing him to control them. At the mansion, Xavier stops taking his serum and slowly regains his mental powers, while losing the ability to walk. Through Wolverine, Xavier speaks to his future self and is inspired to work for peace between humans and mutants once again. He uses Cerebro to track Mystique, who is heading to Washington, D.C. As Xavier, Wolverine, and Beast search for Mystique, Nixon unveils the Sentinel prototypes at the White House. Mystique tries to kill Nixon disguised as a Secret Service member, but Xavier finds her in time, stops her and then persuades her that killing the president or Trask would be the wrong thing to do. Magneto commandeers the Sentinels and attacks the crowd, then sets the Robert F. Kennedy Memorial Stadium around the White House as a barricade. Nixon and Trask, accompanied by the cabinet, Secret Service officers, and Mystique disguised as a Secret Service member, are taken to a safe room. Wolverine and Beast try to stop Magneto, but he pits a Sentinel against them and then throws Wolverine into the Potomac River. In the future, the X-Men make their final stand as a large army of Sentinels attack the monastery. In 1973, Magneto pulls the safe room from the White House and prepares to kill Nixon and his cabinet. Mystique, disguised as Nixon, incapacitates Magneto with a plastic gun. Xavier persuades Mystique to spare Trask and allows her and Magneto to flee. Mystique's actions are seen as a mutant saving the president, leading to the cancellation of the Sentinel program. Trask is arrested for trying to sell American military secrets. Wolverine wakes up in the future to find Iceman, Rogue, Colossus, Pride, Beast, Storm, Jean Grey, Cyclops, and Xavier alive. In 1973, Mystique impersonates Stryker and takes custody of Wolverine. By brilliantly combining the original cast and our new first-class crew, all while telling a classic comic book storyline and giving it justice. X-Men: Days of Future Past gives us everything we love about this franchise and more, with great performances all around and giving us a magnificent hybrid conclusion or beginning that sets the stage for what's yet to come. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to Yousaf Reacts, and hit the bell icon for more movie reviews and analyses. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on Days of Future Past and what movie you'd like me to review next. Until next time, stay super.